Hey guys, welcome back to T-Bones Tech. In today's video, we are doing my video test over the brand new Canon EOS Rebel T8i. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the 4K video and the 1080p video on this camera. The Canon T8i has an APS-C size sensor, and it can film 1080p video at 30 and 60 frames per second and also 24 frames per second without a crop. So you're basically using the entire sensor. But when you film 4K video on this camera, there's going to be a 1.6 times crop factor applied. So that means when you're filming 4K video with the Canon T8i, you're actually cropping or you're zooming 1.6 times into the lens, and that's going to cause a couple of different issues. So hopefully this video helps you understand the kind of quality of video you're going to be able to pull from the Canon T8i. Alright, so right now we are filming video on the T8i, and we're filming this video at 1080p at 30 frames per second. And as you guys can see, it looks pretty decent. Everything seems to be pretty sharp. The autofocus is doing a great job of keeping my face in focus. And if I switch to focusing here on the brick, we're going to see it pull focus away from my face and onto the brick very quickly. Now I'm going to tap my face again, and boom, just like that, it is focused back on my face. So here we can see that Canon's dual pixel autofocusing system is an extremely powerful tool that helps you get very sharp video, and you can pull focus very well. And Canon's dual pixel autofocusing system is available with this camera when filming 1080p video at 30 and 60 frames per second. But unfortunately, it's not available when filming 4K video. Alright, so now we switch to 1080p video at 60 frames per second. And as you guys can see, as I'm walking around, the camera is doing a very good job of keeping my face in focus. Again, I'm going to focus here on the brick wall and see how it does, and it popped right into focus. Now I'm going to go ahead and tap on my face again, and boom, just like that, my face is in focus. This Canon T8i really doesn't have an issue when using dual pixel AF at either 30 or 60 frames per second. But now we're going to switch to 4K. But before we switch to 4K video, take a look at me and my surroundings and the distance I am away from the camera, because we're going to switch to 4K video, and there is a 1.6 times crop factor applied. So I'm going to try to not move the camera, and I'm going to switch to 4K video right now. Alright, so now we are filming 4K video on the Canon T8i, and as you guys can see, instantly it zoomed in 1.6 times, and even though I'm filming with a Canon EFS 10 to 18mm lens, and we're filming wide open at 10mm, we can see that when filming 4K video, the camera is still very close and zoomed up to my face, unlike when it was super wide when filming 1080p video, because we have that crop factor applied. Now, when filming 4K video on the Canon T8i, we also run into another issue, and that issue is we don't have dual pixel autofocus enabled. So unfortunately, as you guys can probably see, the focus isn't going to be nearly as good as it was in 1080p. So if I move the camera a little bit closer, I kind of go out of focus, and I am going to tap on the brick right now and see if it can pull focus into the brick. And it actually did a pretty decent job. Now I'm going to tap my face again. And here, as you guys can see, it took a little bit longer to pull in my face. When filming 4K video on the Canon T8i, it's going to use, I believe, Canon's phase detect system versus dual pixel autofocusing system. And Canon's phase detect system is not nearly as advanced as dual pixel autofocus. And that's where we're going to run into some issues. Right now, the aperture we're using on this lens is f4. And because of that, it's going to help the camera keep objects in focus, because f4 isn't really that shallow of an aperture. But if we record at faster apertures like f1.8 or even f2.8, the camera is going to struggle even more keeping me in focus. Also, when filming 4K video, there is a ton of rolling shutter. So I'm going to shake the camera a little bit right here, and as you guys can see, just an absolute ton of rolling shutter, and that is definitely unfortunate. Alright, so now we're back to 1080p video at 30 frames per second, and we're going to test for rolling shutter here, because I forgot to earlier. And as you guys can see, the rolling shutter is basically non-existent on this camera when filming 1080p video at 30 or 60 frames per second. Alright, so now we're filming 1080p video at 24 frames per second, and the audio that you've been listening to through this entire video has been recorded with my little lavalier microphone here, but we're going to switch over to the built-in Canon T8i microphones right now. Alright, so now the audio that you're listening to is being recorded with the built-in dual microphones on the Canon T8i. I hear that these microphones are a big improvement from the Canon T8i, and that they sound a lot better. So definitely make sure to let me know what this microphone sounds like in the comments section down below. They're located up here on the top of the camera, right where the flash is. So switching back to 4K video now, I want to demonstrate why you can't vlog with this camera if you have the kit 18 to 55mm lens, and that is because when you're filming at 18mm, it's going to be so zoomed in because of that 1.6 times crop factor. So right now the lens that I'm using is the Canon 10 to 18mm EFS lens, and we're filming all the way wide at 10mm. But if I zoom zoom all the way into 18 millimeters with my hand fully extended and the aperture darkened. Let me go ahead and adjust that real fast, because when you zoom into one of these lenses, the aperture actually zooms in from f4 to f5.6, which is a full stop of brightness difference. So here with my aperture adjusted by increasing my ISO, here at 18 millimeters filming 4K video, you guys can see I can barely keep my head in. I have pretty long arms. I imagine most people are going to be even closer than this. So if you want any shot whatsoever to be able to record 4K video, you're going to need to pick up the Canon 10 to 18 millimeter lens and film all the way wide here at 10 millimeters. That's going to make quite a big difference. Okay, so now we're back to filming 1080p video at 30 frames per second. And I think what this video has shown us is that 1080p video on this camera is really the sweet spot. When you bump it up to 4K, there's just too many downsides with the bad autofocusing and also the 1.6 times crop factor. It's not going to be nearly as wide for vloggers. And also when filming 4K video with this camera, if there's any quick movements, there's going to be a ton of rolling shutter, and there just isn't any rolling shutter at all at 1080p on this camera. So if you're looking for a perfect 4K vlogging camera, I definitely wouldn't recommend picking up the Canon T8i. It's really going to have way too many downsides to it. Sorry for the overexposure right there, but I would definitely recommend picking up the Canon 90D if you're looking to film 4K high quality vlogs with almost no rolling shutter and also do pixel autofocusing. Now that being said, the Canon T8i is still extremely great for filming 1080p video with Canon's dual pixel autofocusing. As you guys can see, the video is very crisp and clear, and this is absolutely perfect for vlogging. You really don't need to film in 4K video for vlogs, but overall I am very impressed with the Canon T8i. I think it films very good video, and if you do want to film some more stationary video like ocean shots or nice landscape shots, or if you're doing a lot of really high quality, 4K pans or something like that, the 4K video on this camera could definitely work out well. But because of the issues with rolling shutter when filming 4K video, you're going to want to stay away from quick and action sports, or like I said, even vlogging where you're moving the camera around fast. It's just not going to act very well when doing so. Alright, so right now we are doing our high ISO test. We are filming this video footage at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and we're filming this at ISO 6400, which is very high, but we're also going to stop it up one more stop here all the way to ISO 12800. And here at ISO 12800, we can see the camera is still doing a decent job, and the video quality is still pretty decent from what I can see here in this flip out tilt screen. Let me know what you guys think about this video quality in the comment section down below. I am very interested to see what you guys have to say about this, but this means that this camera is capable of taking high quality video even in low lighting situations. But that's it for this video test over the brand new Canon T8i. I think overall it's capable of filming very good and high quality video, and it's going to be great for beginners or people who are just starting to get into YouTube. Oh yeah, and I'm sure you guys are going to ask, the video that you guys are seeing right now and the video you saw right at the beginning of the video was being recorded with the Canon EOS R at 4K at 30 frames per second. But that's all for you guys in this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give me a big thumbs up down below, and of course make sure to hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified every single time I upload a brand new video just like this one to my YouTube channel. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.